Well, hello, everyone. Again, Real Deal is back. Real Deal Around Town is back to talk about some very important news. Now, today's video is not simply to address things going on in the town I live in, although I know what's coming with the topic of today's video. My town is going to be having this battle. Um, I know it. I know it. I know my town. So it's going to be interesting. I hope it's not that difficult. But this is something that's important to everybody, all veterans in particular, across Massachusetts. And I think it's going to catch a lot of veterans by surprise that it's even an issue. Some veterans, I, I know a lot of times people don't get the word on things. And I'm certain that there are some veterans out there that have not heard about the HEROES Act that passed in Massachusetts last summer. And I'm not going to give you a whole class on that today, but I am talking to you today about one section of the HEROES Act that requires our attention right away. We need to stay informed and we need to get active. We need to let our town leadership know that what we want, that we want this really bad. It's not automatic. Just because the state passed this section, it's not automatic. A lot of things about the HEROES Act, it has passed. And like I said, I'm not going to go into every detail of it, but it's a wonderful law that Massachusetts passed. Governor Healy introduced it. It got through the legislature and it's now the law. There are some things about the HEROES Act that are excellent and we need them. Veterans, disabled, this is particularly towards disabled veterans, those who are on disability of some form from the VA, um, and others, and spouses. But I'll get into that. Um, there's some real estate tax provisions in that have been in existence in Massachusetts for decades, and they're not bad. I have no complaints, and I think most veterans are happy that they're and are grateful for the property tax exemptions that exist for disabled vets who own homes or want to. That it helps, um, and they've been there for years, and they're not going anywhere. But what happened with the HEROES Act is that they've provided an opportunity for cities and towns across the state, from Provincetown to Pittsfield and everywhere in between, to increase those benefits. And it's really sorely needed. I need to speak out for all disabled veterans who are currently receiving it, are eligible to receive it. If you're a disabled veteran and you own a house and you're not getting a property tax exemption, you need to go to your town hall right now, and get that going. Find out what paperwork you need and get it in. And those who are already getting it, the HEROES Act provided an opportunity to have those benefits increased. There's two particular sections of it that are new. Um, First, I'm going to say that the benefits that are there haven't been changed in decades. For example, the lowest exemption is $400. This is on a whole year. $400 off your property taxes if you are 10% disabled or more, which is the lowest exemption that exists. That has been $400 for I don't know how long, decades. I don't know when it was enacted, but it's been a very long time. And as you probably might be aware, that property values have increased exponentially since that $400 exemption went in. And when property tax valuations go up, so do taxes. So this $400 was a bigger chunk of someone's property taxes when it was enacted. And I want to tell town leadership across the state that we're all grateful for what we have. Okay, we're not complaining about the fact that we've had this, but the concern that, or the reason that the HEROES Act has changed these opportunities is because this money doesn't go so far anymore. That these exemptions have lost a lot of value to the people that it's been these exemptions were enacted to help. Disabled veterans and those who take care of them are impacted by this. And property taxes have gone up exponentially, property values have gone up exponentially, and the property tax exemptions that were enacted used to mean a lot more than they do now. So the state, with the HEROES Act, has provided opportunities for cities and towns to make increases to those the benefit, the needed benefit that our disabled veterans are entitled to. Now, as you notice, I'm wearing I want everybody to know I'm a veteran and I'm standing up for other veterans. That's what we're supposed to do. Veterans are got to stand up for other veterans. And that's why I'm here today to do this video, that I want everybody to know statewide how important this is, and that veterans need to wake up. And if you're able to, let people know how important this is. And get your veterans organizations going, and let your town leadership and the people who vote in your town, in your town, city or town, know that this is going to be something you have to vote on. Yeah. So there's a couple of sections of it. Let me see if I can bring up, which part is this? I know what I'm going to bring up. Oh, all right. These are the, I'm babbling now. All right. I'm going to change what I was going to do. I'm going to, whoops, remove, whoops. That's not what I want. That's not what I wanted. Do I want to bring this up now? No, first, I'm sorry. I'm not even going to bother editing this. So I'm sorry, it's going to sit here. I'm going to bring up, there's a couple of things I wanted to bring up on the screen here. So bear with me. All right, I'm going to explain what the different benefits are that we get right now. I'm going to take my face out of here completely if I can, just so you can have the full screen. And this is Taxpayer's Guide to Local Property Tax Exemptions for Veterans. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just want to let people know, whether you're a veteran or not, what these entail. And if you close your eyes, I'm going to zip through this to get to the different things. These are all the, and you don't need to read all this right now. You can Google this document for yourself and look at it if you want to read all the legal mumbo jumbo before this part. So there's multiple sections. There's 5 or 6, 7 or 8 sections to it. Some of them we don't have any. I'm in a small town, so we don't have as many. My town has a total of 74 people getting $400 off their taxes. That's what my assessor's office told me. But this is the one that most people have. It's easiest to get. Excuse me. And but in order to get $400 right now, this is before the HEROES Act. You have to be any veteran with service-connected disability of 10% or more. You have the Purple Heart, surviving parents of Gold Star parents, basically. Spouses who have never remarried. If a veteran dies and the spouse doesn't remarry, they'll continue to get the $400. And so, yes, and then they have a special. Now, this is interesting. Surviving spouse, it's in the law, so I'm going to let you know what it is. Surviving spouses who never remarried of World War I veterans, as long as their assets, less any mortgage on the property, do not exceed $20,000. Now, that's almost, first of all, I don't know that we have any more World War I vets. I apologize if we do and I'm missing somebody. But this gives you an indication of how long this law needs to get updated. That having your assets not to exceed $20,000 would be kind of impossible. So today, these are really old numbers that absolutely need to be updated. The next one is you get $750 off your taxes if you've suffered loss of one foot or one hand or one eye, or you're a recipient of the Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, Navy Cross, or Air Force Cross, former prisoners of war, former or current spouses or of whose veteran spouse owns a domicile, or surviving spouses of veterans entitled to this exemption. So surviving spouses also benefit from each of these. It's the benefit exemption is $12.50 for those who lost both feet or both hands or both eyes. Now, these are pretty significant disabilities, and look at the dollar amount that's assigned, and you can think, well, especially today where people, almost the minimum property tax on most houses is probably $4,000 or $5,000 total taxes, and people who are disabled are the numbers, these over the time, the $12.50 used to probably be a significant portion of someone's property tax, but no longer. The next one is $1,500 for total disability in the line of duty and receives assistance with specially adapted housing, which they own and occupy. Like if they're eligible, they get their housing specially adapted. If you're in that category, it makes more sense. But it's the VA also has a program where they'll come in and they'll come in and adapt your house to the needs that you have. This is a special category of veterans. And again, the surviving spouses. Then you get a full exemption. The HEROES Act is not going to address the full exemptions because they're not going to change. You get a full exemption, you get a full exemption. You're not going to get more than that. And that makes sense. So the 22D is someone who's missing in action, presumed to have died, and includes people who are on National Guard on active duty, which these are activated reservists, basically. Sometimes the law, the way they write these laws, I don't know. But if you've served in the regular service and as well as the Guard or Reserve, this should make some sense to you. Veterans who died as a proximate cause. Now, this is an interesting one. If a veteran has died as a result of service connection, basically. So you could be out of the service for 40 years and you're getting disability, and it might only be 20%. But when you die, you died of that injury or illness. I don't know if it's a good example, but someone who has COPD may be on disability for that, and then they'll die of it, which unfortunately that can happen. And if that's how you died, it's determined that you died as a result of something that was service-connected illness or injury. Then your spouse will get full tax exemption. Even if you're not entitled to a full tax exemption while you're alive, it will continue. You will get a full tax exemption upon your death if it was for service-connected disorder. I'm sorry if I'm confusing that. It's one of those full ones. So it's not impacted by the HEROES Act. This is just going to carry on. The clause 22E, $1,000. That's for all veterans who have a service-connected disability of 100%. And of course, surviving spouses. Now, then we have F. F is for blindness or paraplegics with 100% disability for these conditions. These are actually, paraplegics don't have to be 100%, and believe it or not, some paraplegics are not at 100%. But if you're 100% disabled if you are paraplegic at any percent or have 100% disability for service-connected blindness, you get a full tax exemption as well as your surviving spouse. And then here's a missing in action. I'm losing track of this one. I'm not going to go. It's a full one. It doesn't matter. But if these are exemptions that I tell you, veterans are very grateful. I wanted to speak for myself, and I'm sure I'm speaking for every veteran receiving these, that we're grateful. Everybody's grateful for getting what we get. So this is not a total complaint video, okay? I just want to be clear about that. And if I can get, I'm going to close this window if I can. Oh, brother. I'm going to get back. I'm coming. There we are. I'm back. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to close this out. Stop screen. Yeah. No, that's just a basic explanation of what the benefits are right now that I'm about to talk about a little bit more in detail about how the Heroes Act impacts this or what we need. The, the the Heroes Act allows for a doubling of these benefits. Only the ones that aren't full already. People entitled to a full exemption are not going to get money back because they own a house. That's not happening. Those that are on 400, 750, 1,000, 1,500, 1,250, those. The Heroes Act allows cities and towns to increase that number to 50% increase, 75%, whatever number they want. I think it's from 50 to 100% increase on whatever the property tax exemption is. And I want to be clear that these numbers, the dollar amounts that are in these already existing exemptions that people have been getting, haven't been updated in decades. Okay. These are needed. The increase that is being asked for as part of the Heroes Act is a needed increase, even at 100%. And I want to advocate for all veterans to ask their cities and towns for a full 100% increase. That would be the 400 people will get 800. The people getting 750 will get 1,500. And the people getting 1,500 will get 3,000. And as I went, I'm not going to go through the list again. You can replay this video or look up the forms if you want to study again who we're talking about. But these are disabled veterans who, some of whom have pretty profound injuries and have been getting an exemption on the property taxes that really isn't that much in comparison to what property taxes they have to pay. And especially when you consider how much time has gone by and the increase in valuations, that the value of the assistance these disabled veterans have been getting just gets lost every year with the exponential increases in what property taxes have done and what property values have done. These veterans across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are asking our town voters to approve the increase on what the property tax exemption should be. And I think I'm speaking for everybody who's paying attention that veterans are asking for 100% increase. The 50, 75 to 100 is what you can put in there. Those who are in town meeting towns, I'm going to show you the articles as the drafts are there that Department of Revenue has put out recommended drafts so that these will be legal articles on your town meeting floor. But I want to advocate that every veteran that every veteran who can vote, go to your town meeting this spring, or whenever your town meeting is. Different towns have different times. Mine's in May. Some are coming up sooner than that, I think. So, but and tell your city councils, however your government is determined on passing these laws, you need to be there and make sure that any amendments on the floor for what your town leadership has put on the warrant for your town meeting is that any amendment says 100%. I'm going to bring them up. There's another article. I'm going to show you that one too. That there's another law that they're allowing, which should be a no-brainer. This should not have any argument and should pass with just flying colors. That whatever the number is on each of these property tax exemptions, it is to allow for a cost of living increase That's automatic cost of living increase on these numbers every year. Now, that can sound scary to some people. Oh, I don't know. Yes. Well, veterans, of course, you need to advocate for this. This means you don't have to go to town meeting to get an increase. And it's small. These are cost of living increases. If you're on Social Security, or if you're getting some kind of government check, or if you work for the government, or you have a job, then occasionally they'll give you a cost of living increase. What are those numbers? Somewhere around 2%, with inflation being 8. I mean, we know those cost of living increases are not earth shattering, okay? And it's based on the same premise as Social Security. So they're not big. They're not, so voters should not have a problem allowing an automatic cost of living increase, so we don't have to go decades. So in 50 years, we don't have to come back and change this number again. Just, we'll get this increase in, and it'll be automatic. It'll be a small increment from whatever we start with at town meeting. So let me bring up, try this again. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. Oh, well, that's not working. I have to ask for it, don't I? Share screen. It's coming. Bear with me. Window. Let's see. I did that one. It's coming. I think it's going to be document 1. There it is. How's that? Okay. I'm going to go back here. Get me out of the picture. So I know what I'm going to do. Oh, there it is. I'm going to try to increase the screen so you can see it better. There. I think that works. These are the sample acceptance votes, which for the HERO Act tax exemptions. The adjusted exemption is the one I just spoke about. That's the cost of living increase. Excuse me. This is what I'm going to read it. This is what it should say on your town meeting warrant. That the town accept general laws, chapter 59, section 5, clause 22I, is in India for you phonetically unchallenged people, which authorizes an annual increase in the amount of the exemption granted under general laws, chapter 59, section 5, 22, 22A, 22B, all the way through F, which those are the ones that have the that aren't a full exemption. If you have a full exemption, you don't need an increase because it's going to increase automatically. But this is just the cost of living by the percentage increase in the United States Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Consumer Price Index for the previous year as determined by the Commissioner of Revenue to be effective for applicable exemptions granted for any fiscal year beginning on or after July 1st, 2025. Okay. All that mumbo jumbo says it's the same increase as Social Security. That's exactly the same wording that you see on if you're on Social Security, then you know that, but this is the same percentage will match. If you're getting a 2% raise on your Social Security check, you'll get a 2% raise if you get both. But this, just to help explain it, is why I'm using Social Security as an example. When you hear the Social Security increase, your tax exemption will also increase by that amount when you hear that on the news. All right. Now, the other one is the additional 22J Juliet. This is the one where we want to change all those exemptions that I went over, the $400, the $750, the $1,250, the $1,500. We want, or the HEROES Act allows cities and towns to increase that from anywhere from 50% more to 100% more. 100% more, 100% is the doubling. So that if you're getting 400, the HEROES Act allows cities and towns to increase that to 100 to 800, 400 to 800. The 750 will go to 1500. If your town votes to do the 100%. Now, I want to advocate strongly for I want to have everybody advocate for the 100%. These numbers have not increased in decades, and the impact that it was once designed to have is long lost in with the cost of inflation on property values over the last decades, as well as, of course, the property taxes themselves. So, so this will apply to this article. The town will vote. I read that already, I think. The personal exemption amount subject to the conditions in 22J to be effective for applicable exemptions granted for any fiscal year beginning on or after July 1st. So this is where we have that um, the doubling. I'm gonna bring myself back into the picture and get everybody else out of here. So I just veterans across the state need to get active right now, and citizens who are going to be voting on this, your town leadership, everybody's in a money crunch. They're going to be not too happy that this is coming in right now. I know my town leadership is freaking out, and but this has to go on. They got to put it on the town meeting warrant. They can't not do that. If they don't do it, oh my gosh. But they have to put it on. And I mean, I hate to have us have to come up with a petition, but we all should be making sure that that's not required. That this needs to go up and let the townspeople vote on this. But this is, I know money's tight in communities. I know it. I'm watching my town scream and do all kinds of things with trash collection and everything else. But this is really important. This was discussed and passed, and a lot of support for it. And then we don't want to have the support come to an end this spring when it comes to uh, disabled veterans tax exemptions. Now, this doesn't cover every single resident. Everybody's, it's not a cut on tax benefit. I mean, it's just disabled veterans. Overall, it's a small group of people. In my town, I've got this. I don't have it up there. I asked for the numbers of veterans we have that are impacted by this, and it's basically. I don't have the list. Totally, 74 veterans are getting $400. I got one that's 22B. One, some of these are surviving spouses that are getting a full exemption, which those have no impact whatsoever on the HEROES Act. There won't be a change. They'll continue to get a full exemption. I've got 3 people getting 22D and 43. I can't remember. That might be the $1,000. They told me there's the F and H. We don't have anybody in my town, but that's it. 74 people are getting 400, and 43 people, I believe, are getting 1,000. I was going to have the 2 list up, and I don't have it in front of me now. Maybe I can look. Let me see real quick. Do I have this? That's it. Let me quick. I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm going to scroll. Is this where I want to be? What am I looking at? Oh, all right. 22E. What's 22E? Yeah, that is $1,000. I was right. I remembered it right. Okay. Yay! My memory is tough sometimes with all these numbers and clauses and things. But yes, I wanted to do this video since I see that it could be an issue. It was briefly discussed at my last town of Townsend, the town hall behind me. Their assessors meeting, it came up, and I felt the concern in the room. But they did say, yeah, well, the voters got to vote on it, and there's definitely concern. So if there's concern in my town, there's concern in your town. If you're in any other town in Massachusetts, and you're a veteran, and you think, oh, the HEROES Act, yay! Don't be so sure. We need to get active. We need to educate people, and not just hope for the best at town meeting. And usually there's always talk. I know my town leadership, all veterans. Every time there's a selectmen's meeting or a couple other meetings, the chair will always, they'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they'll thank all the veterans for their service and how much we support you and all this other stuff. Let's not let that be all talk, shall we? Let's have actual support for the veterans in my town and in your town. All of our towns, our veterans need to be supported on this issue. The HEROES Act was a very important legislation that was passed with much needed changes and benefits. And these are going to be voted at town meeting or in your city councils. Maybe even somebody will put it on a ballot question. And sometime, I don't know, but it's just a simple, for those of us that are in the towns that have town meeting, just on town meeting floor at your annual town meeting. My town is going to be the first week of May. I don't know where everybody else's are. Depends on the size of your town, I think. But make sure you start talking about this and how important it is that to really put real support behind your talking support of veterans in your communities. That this is sorely needed. This is way overdue. This is decades old updates that need to be made to provide the real help for disabled veterans to stay in your communities. We hear a lot about that in my community. We need our, senior citizens, and we need to help people stay in our communities. And with the increasing rates of property values and increasing property taxes that go along with it, there are veterans who are on fixed incomes who don't have a lot of other sources of income, but they're getting that a small check or a check from the VA for their disability, and that's might be it, or they might be getting Social Security. They might have some other side income, but these are disabled veterans that our towns have always committed to supporting. Now it's unfortunately, or fortunately, I have to say, it's time to put our money where our mouth is and not just support verbally how much we care about our veterans, but actually vote and make it happen. Every town, city and town can do this, and you've been promising it, and here's your chance to support veterans the way you say you do. And I want to also again say that veterans are grateful for the benefits that we get, and we want to be more grateful. And we really, we, speaking on behalf, hopefully I'm speaking on behalf of all veterans who are impacted by this, that every veteran who is impacted by this thanks you for supporting disabled veterans in this vote at each and every city and town to improve the property tax exemptions as promised in the HEROES Act in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is just Massachusetts. Anybody that's listening that's somewhere else, this is just a Massachusetts thing that was passed last year. You can Google it. You can Google HEROES Act Massachusetts. It'll come up for anybody that might not have heard about this, or if you need any more information. I'll try to remember and work on getting some links down in the description after I publish this video. So you can get more information. So contact your veteran service officer. Every town has a VSO. Contact them and contact your elected officials and let them know how important this is to you, as well as any other veterans or surviving spouses who are benefiting or need the benefit of these increases in the exemptions. All right, I'm not going to hold you up any longer. So as always, please, if you would, please like this video, share it, comment. I do want this, I say it a lot when I'm doing videos to please leave a comment, but on this one, I'd really like to hear some comments. I think it'll be helpful so that if there's any way we can continue to get the word out to help get this through each and every one of our towns, to get this, make sure these increases are impacting everybody and helping the veterans that really need it. And some need it more than others. And, don't think, well, it's a money grab. No, there are veterans that really need this. But do comment, share this video, like this video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I do all kinds of weird videos sometimes, but I do try to get some informative ones out there as well. My goal on my YouTube channel, which is relatively young, it's been less than a year that I've had this thing, but I do want to put out videos of this kind that let people know um, important things that are happening in the communities that we need to pay attention to and to take action on. All right, I'm not going to hold up any longer. I'm going to end this recording. Watch it again if you need to get more information. And I will see you on the next go round. And I hope I see you out there as we try to get the word out on this important subject. Thank you. Have a good day.